What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Make an Impact podcast with real stories, real people, and real impact. My name's Stephen Turnbull. I'm an entrepreneur, a husband, and a father on a mission to empower individuals to share their stories so they can make an impact on you. My good friend, John Bartholomeo, owner and operator of Mohawk Valley Wellness, is in the house today. We talked about the early days of when it was just him in a garage starting the business, some of the lessons he learned in the service, and just general great life, business, and general lessons. It's going to be a great episode. Hope you enjoy it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Make an Impact podcast. My good friend, Mr. John Bartholomeo, owner, visionary, head of janitorial services, all of the above of Mohawk Valley Wellness.
Best mustache and beard in town, baby.
That's what they say. That's why we had you here. We need to know what's the hair product.
Love it. It's going to be high shine, medium hold.
That's the key. That's the key where everything gets wrong. I'm going to start this podcast hot. I was thinking about this on the drive-in. I want to remind you, I know I've told you this before probably, and I've talked about a lot about it, of a time that you completely changed my life. Okay? And I could be going a lot of directions with this, and I've shared this a lot on the podcast. Starting T5 and starting my business was the hardest thing, scariest thing I've ever done. May be going forward, right? We talked about it a lot. We had this group of guys at the gym where we met regularly. Now we just meet at Piggy Pat's, which is nice. But I will never forget the moment, John, that you told me what's the worst thing that's going to happen, what's the best thing that's going to happen, and what's probably going to happen. 3.5 years removed, I think about that all the time, probably every other day with any decision in life. And I just want to start the podcast hot by thanking you for that. And I've said it many times during the conversations that we've had, and I've frankly stolen it, so people think that it's mine because you probably stole it from someone else, so that's fine. But I want to thank you for that. Thank you for your friendship, and just welcome you on the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for recognizing that. And you're right. I haven't had an original thought in 41 years. So credit to whoever came up with that. I think it was Tim Ferriss. He calls it fear casting. It's just saying, what's going to be the absolute wildest outcome of the negative side, okay? What's the absolute craziest plus side? Then what's the likely middle ground? And if you're okay with all of them, if you can just say, great, I'm okay with all three. I don't want that crazy, wild, negative one. Hammer it out. Go for it. Look where we are now, 3.5 years later, baby. Go. Love it.
Okay. Somebody that's watching this right now, they've seen John with the good hair on the Facebook ads and all of that, but they've never met you. They never heard your story. Just talk to me about John. Let's go back to the beginning, and then we'll work our way to where we are today with the gym and all the other businesses and stuff that you're working on. But let's learn just about John.
Cool. So I am a native to the Utica area. My parents, born and raised in the area, was I think St. Elizabeth back in the day, no longer there. Went to school, or I would say was enrolled in school, Whitesboro High School. Was not what you would call a banner student.
You're on the roster.
I was on the roster. I was on the books, attended from time to time. Did not have the best of grades. I had a great time, but I did not have the best of grades. Gave it the old college try twice. Did not come out with a degree. Came out with a lesson in partying, which doesn't serve you very well. And then got into a bunch of trouble. I had a local judge say, hey, John, I've seen you a few times. If I see you again, you're going to go reside in jail. I said, this seems like I'm getting pointed in a good direction, which sounds like the United States Marine Corps. Hands down, second to marrying my beautiful wife and starting the business, one of the best things I've ever done in my life. It got me out of the area. It changed my environment. It changed the way I saw things. It gave me some structure and some routine and a lot of discipline. Did that for 4 years. Came back. Kind of said, I'm not sure what I want to do. Actually went back overseas for a little while, did some private contracting, spent a short stint as a corrections officer. Very quickly knew that was not what I wanted to do. And this was at the time that CrossFit was a brand new thing. So this is 2009. And I said, you know what? I like to work out. I've always wanted to run my own business. Here's an opportunity. I don't think I knew about the Tim Ferriss worst case scenario, best case scenario, and most likely middle ground yet. But I said, hey, why not give it a shot? Why not try this thing out? You like to work out. There's a chance you could turn it into something. And that was 15 plus years ago in a 2-stall garage in New Hartford. And then quickly we said, okay, we want to make this legit. So we went to our first location, which was in Yorkville, and that was probably about 1,500 square feet, which is wild. I drive by that now and I look at that, and I'm so appreciative and I'm so grateful for where we came from, and it makes me happy to see that.
Yeah.
We then went to where we are now in Marcy, which is 13,000, 14,000 square feet, a multitude of different classes. Yes, we still do CrossFit, but in reality, we do more things than CrossFit when you total them all out. Personal training, nutrition, lifestyle coaching, come on awesome podcasts like this, corporate wellness. We built out an app. We've said, how can we help? Our original tagline was building community through fitness. And what that means to me is, how do we help the people when we first started inside those four walls get healthier, happier? And then we started to realize this massive ripple effect of, as I've become friends with you, Stephen, and you have worked on improving your fitness, I know for a fact that that doesn't just stop with you. You're going to be a better version of yourself, which means your wife, your daughter, everybody that you serve through T5, they get a better version of you. So we started to grow and expand and say, how many different ways can we do that? So that was 15 years and probably about 90 seconds.
So take me back and stop me if I'm making this up. Weren't you deployed when you kind of had the idea about coming home and starting? And thank you very much for your service, by the way. But weren't you deployed at the time when you were nearing your end of the deployment or something and thinking, what's the next step? And that's when you kind of thought about the gym thing?
Great memory. This guy knows his stuff right here, right? He studied before the interview.
I've been studying all day.
100% true. All throughout the time in the Marine Corps, even the time during private contracting, I like to work out. It's just something I've always done. And when I was deployed, I was starting to see CrossFit pop up. And it was different. It was new. It was exciting. It was super effective. And I came back and said, okay, in the Utica area, where can I train like this? And it really wasn't anywhere. I had to drive out towards like Deansboro to go drive 25 minutes to go do anything even remotely close to that. So then I went back and deployed again and started putting the wheels in motion and say, okay, well, how do I turn this lack of training style in our Utica Rome area, how do I turn this into a business? And went back overseas and started studying it and started learning more and putting the checks in place of what I need to do to make this happen. So yes, 100%. The idea was born in Iraq. I was born in Baghdad, and then came back to New York.
So talk to us about the mindset at that time, because you said at that time there wasn't the mindset of the worst thing, the possible best thing, and what could happen. Like, what was, when looking back now, how many years? 11, 12?
15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 years removed now from the garage, day one in the garage, or even before day one in the garage of, this is an idea of something I could do. Talk to us about the mindset at that time.
It was more of, what do I not want to do? Often you talk to individuals and you say, hey, what do you want to do? And they don't know. It was a very clear sign to me that I did not want to be a corrections officer. I had done a couple other little jobs when I came back in between the Marine Corps and contract, and I worked at FedEx. I did a whole bunch of things. And the mindset was, I like to work hard. I'm perfectly fine with that. I enjoy it. But I noticed this little fact, Stephen. No matter how hard I worked at FedEx, they were never going to put my name on the side of the truck. No matter how many awards and commendations I got as a corrections officer, not that I'd want it, they were never going to name the facility after me. I wanted to find a route to do something that I really enjoyed doing, but my work and my drive would be rewarded back to me. And at that point, I had my beautiful wife now. She was my fiance at the time. I wanted to reap the rewards for myself. I didn't want to just work super, super hard for a big faceless, not that FedEx is faceless, but a giant corporation, or be a cog in the wheel of the New York State Department of Corrections. I just felt compelled that I could do more, and I wanted to see that reflected back towards me. And you could call it a little bit selfish, is I didn't want to be trapped in a career or a position for 20, 25 years doing something that I didn't love, that was not paying dividends back to me.
And where does that come from at the time?
I've read a lot. So when you deploy, when you're overseas and you're deployed, there isn't much, surprise, surprise, there isn't much to do when you're not actually on mission. So you can only play so many games of cards, and you can only play so many video games. So then I started to read. I started to learn, and I started a great book out there, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, reading business books, real estate books, and all of these different things. So when I came back and I had these short spurts of jobs or, a short spurt of a career with a corrections officer, I realized that this is what these books were talking about not doing. How can I take the learning that I had from reading these books? I also had the blessing of my father that raised me running a business, so I saw that. And I said, okay, well, that seems to be doing pretty well. Here's these books that are teaching me these things. And again, going back to what I said, the really big point of, okay, I know I don't want to do this, being the corrections officer or working at FedEx at the time. So it was a combination. Most things it's like a recipe. Like I had 25% of knowledge from books and learning. I had a great example of my father that raised me, showing me this. There's 25%. I had this short stint as a corrections officer. We'll call that 50%. The time at FedEx, and all of that comes together to lead to the outcome of, okay, let's try this thing.
Mm-hmm. What did the Marines teach you?
Great question. I would tell you structure, the value of structure, the value of discipline. Nobody, it's a biblical, I'm going to butcher it, it's a biblical saying, right? Nobody enjoys discipline in the time of the discipline, but it bears fruit, right? A simple way to think of it is, it's never super enjoyable. Would I love to sit here and have an ice cream sundae every day of the week? Of course, who wouldn't? But that doesn't bear the fruit. It doesn't create something of value on the back end. So the understanding of discipline and the structure that came from the Marine Corps was something that I still carry with me today. I know, we talked about amazing beards, but I get up every morning. I shave my face. I make my bed every single morning. It drove home these really, really underlying principles of little things matter, attention to detail. Again, structure, routine. There was obviously the physical fitness side of it. There was a lot that came from it, but if it had to be the biggest takeaways, it would be the structure and the discipline.
Mm-hmm. Now, 15 years removed, and we'll get into like what is Mohawk Valley Wellness and all the things we want to talk about that fall down from that. But if you were to look back at everything you just talked about that the Marines taught you, and then compare that to the John who's standing in front of the judge, what was the biggest mind shift change? And I know we want to talk about that. With Mike sitting in here, we were just talking before we were recording of the ups and downs of being a business owners. Tuesday can be the best day of your life. Wednesday's the worst day of your life, right? Like ups and downs, but it's all about your mind and how you look at things. But like those experiences of the highs and lows that brought you to where you are today, what's the biggest thing that sticks out when it comes to mind?
I think it's the understanding of goals and understanding the connection between the hard work that you can put in and the successful achievement of that goal. So when I was just getting in trouble trying college, I didn't really have any great goals. The goal was to go to a party and have a good time. Mm-hmm. And really not a great goal. But as I got into the Marine Corps and again, different environment, different situations, there were goals to have the high PFT score. There were goals to be the honor graduate. There were goals to get a marksmanship award. There were goals to get promoted. Right? That was a big one too. Now you're in the military and you have a rank structure, and you can, if I work hard, if I have a high PT score, if I do, they're called Marine Corps Institutes. If you do these courses to the Marine Corps, that's part of your score. So there's this connection of, let me set some more worthwhile goals and let me work hard, because I do like to work hard towards those goals. And this feels good. One of my favorite things I always tell people is, I think I stole from Tony Robbins again. I haven't had an original idea in 41 years, is progress and happiness, right? Happiness to me, again, credit to Tony Robbins there, I'm pretty sure that's who I borrowed it from, was seeing measurable progress in the areas that are important to you. But in order to start with that, you have to say, well, what's important to me? Mm-hmm. Right? So before the Marine Corps, it was partying and running around like a maniac. But as I started to establish more worthwhile goals in my life, and I started to make the connection of hard work, effort, consistency, goal achieved, then this identity forms of, I am the type of person that can set a goal, be disciplined, and hit it, and then it compounds and builds and builds. So you talked about mindset, and I truly believe mindset is the end-all, be-all. It's going to be very, very difficult to achieve much if you're in between your own two ears. You don't believe that you can do that. So the difference between John standing in front of the judge saying, if I see you again, you're going to go to jail, and the John of now has been a journey, a iteration after iteration of gradual, slow improvements and trajectory upward in the way that I think.
Expand for me, going back to what you said, because I think this is when you talk about goals, what people want in life, all of these things, starting a business, working your way up through that career, having a family, insert anything here. I think in my opinion, something that is very overlooked is what you said of what don't I want? Expand on that.
There are so many things. If you ask a 22-year-old, what do you want to do for a career? There's infinite answers. It's infinite answers. So it can be very overwhelming to say, I want to do this. But if you say, okay, I'm going to very quickly chop a lot off the block and say, I don't like to work with my hands. I don't want this. I don't want this. And then we can change it away from careers and say, okay, health. I don't ever want to feel, I have two amazing boys. I don't ever want to feel that if they ask me to go play with them, that I can't because I'm so unhealthy. Here's a big one. I don't want to be a burden to those that I love as I age. I'm 41 years young. I'm a rock star, and I'm going to do that for as long as I can because I don't want my boys to say, hey, whose weekend is it to go take care of dad? That robs them of their peace and their joy and ideally time with their family. I know I don't want that. I don't want to be on my fourth marriage. I have a beautiful, amazing wife. I don't want to mess that up. So it can be easier to invert the question and say, what do I not want? When I drive, you're my insurance. I don't want to get in an accident.
No,
right? Right? So it can be a lot easier to help you figure out what you want by flipping the question on its head. Again, inversion thinking. I think that's Charlie Munger. And say, okay, if you're having a hard time defining what you want, make it crystal clear what you don't want, and then it's usually come back to the opposite of that. Right? I want to have I have an event with my wife after this. I don't want to have a bad time. I don't want to have squabbling. So you know what I'm going to do? Be super pleasant and kind, and we're going to have a great time. So you can use that in almost any area when you're thinking of, I'm having a hard time with the goal, and say, okay, pause. Instead of thinking what I want, invert it. What's the definite thing I don't want? And then reverse engineer back to, okay,
hit on that point. Reverse engineer, hit on that.
So reverse engineer would be, what is the goal? And then how do I work backwards from that goal to current state? So we'll use running. Hey, a lot of local listeners. I want to run the Boilermaker, but I've never run. Not advisable to show up on the day of the Boilermaker, strap on your shoes, and go and run the Boilermaker. I don't advise that. I'm saying that again, so nobody's like, oh, John said to run the Boilermaker without training. Don't do it. You reverse engineer that. You say, okay, I need to run 9 miles and change. Okay, the race is, I'm making this up, 8 months out. That means, okay, by 1 month out, reverse engineering, by 7 months out, I need to be able to run 8 miles. And then before that, I need to be able to do 6. Before that, 5. Before that, 4. Before that, 3. All the way back to current day. Today, I need to go run a half mile. So you could take that in the business sense. I want to have 1,000 clients by 2027. Well, where am I now? Where is that goal? And how do and it doesn't always have to be perfect mathematically, increments like that, but it helps you chunk it down into what is the thing that I need to do today. Because individuals will often say, I want to lose 50 pounds, and that can feel overwhelming. Well, you can't lose 50 pounds unless you lose the first 1 or 2. So you could reverse engineer that goal of, okay, we're getting close to the end of 2025, and you could say, all right, by the end of 2026, I want to lose 50 pounds. There's roughly, we'll call it 50 some odd weeks in the year, 52, whatever the change. And say, great, if I mathematically did a pound a week, and I could do that consistently, that would do that. So you reverse engineer, what is the goal? What are the increments I need to work backwards to back to current day? And that also helps the brain think, oh, I can do that. If I tell you, Steven, can you go out and get 1,000 clients in the next 12 months? You'd be like, yeah, maybe I can. Your brain might say, no, I can't. But if I say, hey, okay, we reverse engineered it into that equates, I'm again making this up, that equates to 7 new customers a week. That's 1 a day. Do you think you could do that? Yeah, I think I could. And what that does, the most important thing, in order to make progress, is you've got to get wins so you can build momentum. And that's why a lot of people won't start, is because the gap feels so big.
A lot of quick math there off the top of your head. I don't know. You're saying that you were just enrolled in one.
I fired up to do this.
I'm telling you. Okay, take me back to the garage days. Take me back to day 1, month 1, year 1.
Love it.
All of it.
We started like most businesses, family and friends. And I'm super, super proud to say that our first member 15 plus years ago is still a member today. And we have grown to become very, very good friends. And her name's Ruth. She's amazing. She's a rock star. I call her the gatekeeper, right? I might say, can you join the gym? But Ruth's going to say, can you stay at the gym? So Ruth's the gatekeeper. We're in a 2-stall garage, and we are literally just, our equipment was medicine balls with sand in it and duct taped. I think I had 2 or 3 rowers. I had borrowed equipment from people, and it was as bootstrapped as you could get, but it worked. And that's what we saw. I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. If you can get other individuals to come and work out and do this thing and start talking about nutrition, start talking about this, it starts to become fun. Next thing you know, we had so-and-so said, oh, my friend wants to do that. And so-and-so said, oh, my friend wants to do that. And next thing you know, we can't do that in the garage anymore because there's only room for 5 people. So it was a very organic growth, like most things are when you first start, right? We didn't run ads, we didn't have anything fancy. It was about as plain Jane as you could get. But the thing is that it worked, and what made it work was the people. It's like most things. The people was really, really. There was nothing unique about being on a rowing machine. There was nothing crazy unique about, hey, if you eat more lean protein versus fast food, you'll probably feel better and be healthier. There was nothing brand new or novel about what we were doing in that garage. Going back to the recipe, it was, we're doing a little bit different style workout with friends, a little different. We're talking about nutrition a little bit differently, or for the first time ever, right? We're talking about nutrition to go with working out. And then we're tying this thing into it. So it ends up usually being this saying I like is not one silver bullet. It's 100 golden BBs, right? All of those things come together to help create what was the genesis, the jumping off point for the gym.
Something 3.5 years into my business that I'm realizing now, and we've talked about this a lot here, is seasons of the business. And I think, especially a new entrepreneur, you never think about that, right? It's like, I'm just trying to get revenue in, I'm trying to get members to join, I'm trying to get policy sold, whatever that metric is for you. You don't look at the seasons of the business. Was there ever a time that you almost gave up?
Absolutely. Don't think you'll meet any business owner that's successful. And this is a great litmus test of how successful a business owner is. Their willingness to tell you their long list of things they messed up, right? A new business owner is like, no, there's every day is good and we're sunshine. No. The more successful and the longer somebody's been in business, they're generally going to be very open about all the things that they messed up and where they struggled and how hard it was, because that's a sign that they've gone through it and then they're getting to the other side of it. So yeah, there's tons. It's entrepreneurship is the best self-development program with the highest compensation package out there. So let's break that down. What does that mean? My wife and I were talking about this the other day. The running the business was a forcing function of me becoming better. If I acted and behaved the way that I did 15 years ago running this business, you wouldn't have asked me to sit down in this microphone. You wouldn't. I was not mature enough. I was not grown up enough. I didn't know how to talk to customers the right way. You have to remember, a lot of the customers in the first 6 months were very close friends. So I could say whatever I wanted to. We've known each other for 10, 15 years. So the business forces you, if you want to be better, and if you want to go to that trajectory, to learn I need to speak better. I need to learn sales. I need to learn marketing. I need to learn delegation. I also need to learn that I'm going to grow, and then I'm going to break something in the business. And then it's going to take 3 months, 6 months, a year to fix that thing. And then I'm going to grow again. And then it's going to break again. And I got to come back and fix it. The goal is to try to ideally learn lessons from it, right? Document it. Hey, I'm going to pass this thing off to somebody else. Hey, don't break it the way I broke it. Break it a new way, right? That's okay. You're always trying to innovate and become better. And with that, things go sideways. That's understanding that. That's a big part that's helped me is as I bring people onto the team, is I'm very open with them, right? Our GM, I said, look, you're going to take over all billing, and I've messed up billing to the tune of thousands of dollars. So when you bill somebody incorrectly for their 1 month and it's $100, $200, don't sweat it. Now, don't make that the goal. Don't try to bill people wrong all the time, but you're going to mess things up. And if you're a new aspiring business owner listening to this, messing things up, struggling, I don't even want to call it failing, just not doing things great is 1,000% guaranteed. If you think you're going to go into business and it's going to be sunshine and rainbows and every day is going to be this little linear step in the right direction, it's not. You're going to make 17 steps forward and then you're going to think, I've got this. And then you're going to get one email or one phone call like, I don't got this. And then you're going to go really well for a while and then it's a cyclical pattern. But ideally, the hiccups and mistakes become further apart and they become less detrimental, or you're growing and they're new ones. So understanding and having the expectation that business, that's why, I know you like the Daily Stoic, and they talk about life as a lot like wrestling. And I think I like jujitsu. I do jujitsu. I think that business and jujitsu are so interchangeable. They're both super, super hard. If you quit, you never get good at it. It's gritty, it's grimy, it's hard, it is challenging, but man, it's so rewarding. So that's my 2 cents.
I'm trying to think of the word you just said. I want expectation.
Expectations.
So what I love about this, and I'm teeing you up here, is that can apply to business, life, personal goals, people that walk into your doors that want to lose 50 pounds, people that walk in your doors want to move a barbell for the first time in 30 years, whatever it is. Talk to us about specifically in the client sense of expectations and where people go wrong and how they should view it differently.
We live in a amazing time. This is the best time to be alive, in my humble opinion. But we live in a world of instant. I want to instantly. I want fast. I want it yesterday. I want it now, like the girl from Willy Wonka. I want it now, Daddy. Yeah. Right, that was a good impersonation.
That was good.
We have done a very good job over time of learning how to set that expectation to somebody, because you know what, Steven, you know this, the best sales pitch is the truth. If I tell somebody that comes in the facility, say, in the first 10 days, you're going to run around looking like Brad Pitt from Fight Club or from Troy, the movie that he did there, and you're going to be there in 10 days. Number one, I'm lying to them. And number two, they're going to be pretty upset when it's day 10 and that doesn't happen. So we have to have that challenging conversation. It's a truthful conversation. Say, great. Like that analogy I did with somebody that wanted to lose 50 pounds. Let's break it down. What's a healthy, sustainable weight loss? In reality, that's usually anywhere from 1.5, 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds per week done sustainably. Right? We don't want somebody to lose 30 pounds in 1 month and then gain 45. Right? So we have to tell them the truth. But that's, like you said, that's not just in the business. I have an engagement with my wife tonight. I have to tell her, hey, I'm going to come pick you up at this time, right? So the expectation is clear. The communication is very clear, right? To go with expectation also needs to probably precede it as communication. How do you communicate that to somebody? And you do it, and the best thing to do is to just be very candid and say, hey, and what's nice about in business is I can say, we have the data to support this. In the last 15 years, Stephen, I've seen our most successful individuals will lose on average 1.5 to 2.5 pounds per week. So now I can statistically speak the truth to them, set the tone for their expectations so they know what to expect. So that new business owner, if their expectation is, this is going to be easy. I've read 3 business books and everybody on Instagram has made $1 million in the first year. Yeah, that's not the truth. You might want to talk to somebody that's been in the trenches and have done it. That'll give you a little bit different expectation.
I mean, you answered this, but I just want to reiterate it. I think the biggest misconception with any of that, life, personal, I'm thinking of like personal finances, business, weight loss, all of these things that no matter what you do or who you are or what your career is will apply to you. If you don't have the reverse engineer thing down, like, hey, I want to buy my first house. I need to save $30,000 for the down payment. Like you said, if I have $100 in my savings account, that's going to look like a mountain. Versus how do I do this week to work your way there? Same thing. I want to lose weight. I want to grow my business and bring on 50 new clients this month. How do we do that each and every day? What are those metrics? And I think the importance in that, and pivoting back to the business owner sense, is like, and we talked about this again before we started recording, of the ups and downs of literally every day or every hour of what owning a business and what that can look like. Maybe I'm just having a therapy session with myself today. I don't know. But it's important to like stick your head up on the sand and be like, okay, no, Steven, you're fine. This is the way that you're headed. This is the progress that you've made. And so many times you hear stories of people that January 1st comes, I'm joining Planet Fitness and I'm going in, and then January 8th, they're nowhere to be found, right? Because maybe after that week, they didn't see the results, they didn't whatever, they weren't consistent. But I think the expectation with yourself in life, in business, no matter what, is the key of setting, what is that expectation for myself? What are the small things that I have to do to get there? I want to start this business and I need X amount of dollars to start it. Great. How do I get to that point so that I can do that? Great. I started it. Now I want to get this. Great. And that goes back to the seasons of business, seasons of life. And I just think that is the key, because if not, and Mike and I were joking before you got here, you can read every business book in the world. You can listen to every business podcast. At the end of the day, when it comes down to the mental side of what you're doing, whether it's personal, business, whatever it is, you're the one that rows that boat.
Something that I usually like to share with individuals is a little thought experiment, is especially if somebody's gone to school and has a 4-year degree, right? They've gone to school for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, right? And we talk about, great, you have this degree. This is amazing. You've worked very, very hard for this. Would you be willing to work super hard for 1 year on improving your marriage, your health, your finances? You spent 4 years and likely a substantial sum of money on this degree, which there's no guarantee that you're likely going to do that for the rest of your life. In fact, now with the way work is, most people usually change jobs more frequently than they ever have. So you dedicated 4 years of learning, education, sacrifice, time, and money for this degree. Why not say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give this a year. I'm going to work on X project myself, who knows, anything. But you give it that year, because most people, right, there's that saying, a lot of individuals will overshoot what they can do in a month, and they will fail to understand, if I am just diligent, the old rabbit versus hare story, if I'm just diligent and work a little bit more, these small chunks, and I frame things as opportunities. I don't look at them as failures. I call them opportunities. And I do that for a year, you can be in a completely different place.
Yeah.
Hey, this customer sent me an irate email. Do I call that a failure? Or do I go, okay, this is an opportunity for me to practice, where did we drop the ball? Because obviously this person is irate. Diffusing the situation, my interpersonal skills, how do I make this right plus some? Or do I not have practiced the mental jujitsu with myself and fire back an email even more aggressive? So you look at these things that come your way, and that is what will separate, in my opinion, over time, individuals that excel. And again, not even in marriage. Hey, my wife was mad at me. Well, do I blame it on her, or do I go, well, wait a second, this is an opportunity. She's got some really valid points here. Maybe I could be better in those things.
And we've talked about it plenty of times on the podcast, but it goes back to my favorite saying of, not why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me?
What's the lesson?
Like, is it the mind shift?
What's the lesson?
That's it. Yep. We got to wrap up on time here, but I want to talk about the gym, Mohawk Valley Wellness, all the stuff you have going now, because it's certainly different than the 2-stall garage. So tell us what, like today, what it looks like, what people should know, all that stuff.
If you are looking for a community where individuals have a shared goal of becoming healthier and fit, we have a program for you. 15 years ago, if you walked in, we said, yep, you're doing CrossFit. Well, what else do you have? CrossFit in the afternoon. What else you got? CrossFit in the morning. Now it's, you can come in. We have clients that we work with that never step foot inside of our doors. I have a gentleman in Rochester that's about to go crush his Army PT test. We've got people in Texas that have lost 100 pounds. We've got people across the country that have never stepped foot into our physical facility that are happier, healthier, more productive, because we have the ability to reach out to them and have an impact, right? So I think you mentioned it once in there. We built out an app, and the app is basically making a game out of healthy habits. We're gamifying it, so we can compete. You and I, Stephen, we can compete to say who got the most health points this week. We could compete to say who's lost the most weight this month. So what we aim to do is, and we meet with that, unless you're a distance or digital client, we meet, and even with that, we still do a Zoom call. As we sit down, we say, hey, what do you want to achieve? What do you want? And unless it's really outside of our scope of like, hey, I want to win, the Boston Marathon, okay, you got to go get a professional running coach. But if it's within the scope of like, hey, I want to be healthier. I want to lose 15, 20 pounds. I want to feel better. I want to build better routines. We have the track record of just doing that consistently, time and time again, because any good business, We looked at what we were doing well and said, how do we do more of that? And we've had plenty of things that we've done less than ideal and said, okay, well, how do we do a little bit less of that? So every 15 years, it becomes refining, better. So it's funny to say, the members that came in 15 years ago, they, as you would expect, they got a very different product than somebody that comes in now. Somebody comes in now, like we get individuals results so fast now. I'm blown away. We have more people coming in the facility that have a substantial amount of weight they want to lose that are losing it faster than we've ever seen. And that is a testament to my team and a testament to the product that we built together. I don't coach those people. The vast majority, 99% of the success stories you see on our social media, on Facebook and Instagram, they are because our team has served that person and served that person really well using the tools that we built together. So we built a team. We've got an amazing staff. They genuinely love what they get to do. We've got the tools that make it easy. And again, it's that whole recipe. It's not just, we've got a great staff, but we don't know what we're doing. Or we know what we're doing, but our staff is horrible. Or we don't have technology to do it. It's all of it. We've got a really good team. We've polished how to do it. We've brought in technology to make it easier. And it's producing results super, super fast.
What do you say to the person that's watching this that knows they need to come visit you but are scared to do so?
Go on our Facebook and look at the success stories and look at the ones where we put it in there. What would you tell to somebody that's in the same position? So probably once or twice a week, we do what we call a spotlight, a member bright spot. And maybe it's this person did their first pull-up, or this person ran a Boilermaker, or often you'll see they're holding a medicine ball, and the medicine ball says 15, 20, 40, 50. That's a representation of the pounds they lost. And one of the questions we have them answer is, what would you tell somebody that's in your shoes right now? And 99.9% of the time, it's, I wish I had done this sooner. We sit down with you, we talk to you in private, we have ways that you can work one-on-one with a coach, you could do it in a group. We are very, very good at what we do, and the question is, how will things be any better if you don't take action?
Love it. Love it. The name of the app
is Your Best Week Yet.
That's where you go in the App Store?
Yes, sir.
Your Best Week Yet.
Yep. Cool.
John.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very much for your friendship, more importantly than everything else. Because I'm not joking. When I thought about how do we start this, what do we want to do? Like, that's the first thing. The conversations you and I had, the friendships over the last 6-7 years, whatever it might be. I just really appreciate you and everything you've done for me. So thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, my friend.
Everybody, make sure to check out John, Mohawk Valley Wellness, all the great things they're doing. That's another episode of the Make an Impact podcast. Until next time, go out there, lead with purpose, and make an impact in someone's life today, even if that's your own. My name's Stephen Turnbull, John Bartholomeo. We'll see you next week. Take care.